So over the weekend, there was the Fast 10 premiere in Rome, and a bunch of the actors were interviewed. Jason Momoa, John Cena, Jordana Brewster, and yes, Vin Diesel, who is the star and also one of the producers of the Fast movies. And he said that Universal is now changing their minds, where originally the last two movies, Fast 10 and Fast 11, or Fast 10 2, were supposed to be like two parts of one big movie. So it's one big movie cut in half, sort of like what they did with Harry Potter and with Twilight and with the Hunger Games, where they take like the last story and cut it in half. The only difference is that the Fast movies are not book adaptations, they're just original movies. But now Vin Diesel's saying that the Fast 10 film is going to be cut into three parts now because Universal wants to be three parts. Now, I want to give my thoughts on this because while I sort of understand and I kind of like the fact that they're going to end this franchise on a trilogy, so there will be 12 main Fast movies and some spin offs like Hobbs and Shaw and whatnot. Well, I like that. I also am a bit concerned. The reason why the thumbnail for this video is a picture of Vin Diesel as a Hobbit is because we've been down this road before, ladies and gentlemen, with the Hobbit movies. If you go back and you retrace our steps to when The Hobbit was first coming out, the Peter Jackson live action Hobbit, it was supposed to be two parts. And if you've read the Hobbit book, which I did when I was a kid, you know that the Hobbit book is actually shorter than any of the individual Lord of the Rings books. But they were going to still cut it in half and add some new stuff. But at one point, the studio said, no, let's make it into a trilogy. So what wound up happening is The Hobbit, which is a shorter book than any of the individual Lord of the Rings books, that got cut up into three parts. Now, what ended up happening is there was more content in the movie than was even in the books. So they had to add a bunch of filler that wasn't in the books. And some of the filler was okay. Some of it was fun. Some of it was cool. Some of it was not. For example, the last Hobbit movie, about what? 75% of that movie was the big Battle of Five Armies, the big war. And after a while, I kind of got numb to it because there wasn't much of a story there. And while I appreciate big fight scenes, I have not watched that movie, and I own the 4Ks since I saw it in theaters. The original Hobbit films just don't really match up to the Lord of the Rings. And if you remember, the Lord of the Rings movies, they have the extended editions, which is the versions that I always watch. And they're like 3.5, 4 hours long. They're long movies. So here we have The Hobbit, which has its own like extended cuts. And you take the one book and cut it up. Now, Peter Jackson and the creative team added some more lore into it. They tried to fill it up, but ultimately, the Hobbit trilogy was nowhere near as acclaimed as the original Lord of the Rings. And that's too bad because The Hobbit is a great story on its own. So the concern here is that going to happen with Fast 10? Well, I've got my Fast 10 review dropping this Thursday. I'm going to go see the film early in the day. Then I'm going to give a non-spoiler review and then later on a spoiler review for Fast 10. But now it's being cut up into three parts. So what's going to happen here? Are they going to take the script or the plot, whatever, maybe the plot outline they had for Fast 10 2 and cut that in half? Or are they going to do what they were going to do and then add something to the end of it? Or are they going to take that script, make it Fast 10 3 or 13 or 12, I guess. Oh, it's so confusing with these names. And then make the second movie of the Fast 10 trilogy, like add to that. I'm guessing they're going to just cut it in half and add stuff to it. I don't know how I feel about this because while I do like the idea of the finale being a trilogy, and in theory, whatever story they had planned, they're going to have to add to the story. And when they add to the story, it could end up lessening the impact because the first movie is already done. Fast 10 is done. It's finished. So I genuinely wonder if it's going to end up pulling a Hobbit, where it ends up being too long and they have too much filler. We were promised an emotional finale with these last two movies. We were promised a big, huge send-off for the characters, tears. Of course, someone's going to die. Even though Fast 9 made it seem like these guys were immortal, someone's going to die. So, I don't know. I feel like this could be a mistake, and it's going to take some good writing to put this together and to have it work. Ultimately, though, the plan was to release Fast 10 2 / Fast 11 in 2025 and end the saga. But now they have Fast 12 slash Fast X3, and that might not come out until 2027. Or they could shoot these last two sequels back to back or at the same time, like what they did with Back to the Future 2 and 3 or Harry Potter, the last two, do it that way, which I think would be a better idea, and then release them within a year of each other. So you have Fast 10-2 or Fast 11 come out 2025, and then have the last one come out 2026. Ultimately, we will see what they do. What do you think about these Fast movies now they're adding more to them? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think they're going to stretch too thin? They're going to have to rewrite a lot of it. So let's see what they do. Also, as of right now, we do not know if Louis Leterrier is going to direct the last one. We don't know that. He's directing Fast. He directed Fast 10 and Fast 11, Fast 10-2. But what about the last one? We don't know yet. Could Justin Lin return? Will he have time? Could they bring back like an F. Gary Gray? I don't know. I feel like Louis Leterrier might be fine for it. I wouldn't be upset if Justin Lin came back, because ultimately he directed 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9, right? So him coming back is not really a problem for me, but maybe his vision won't be that great. I mean, I didn't like Fast 9 at all. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.